welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Stacy and I am the Chapter Conundrum, and today I'm joined by my handsome husband Jake, who is sick.
I'm surprised you're even letting me sit this close to you.
Yeah, I've been trying to keep my distance for the most part, but you are feeling better today.
Yeah, I've had very bad flu symptoms. I thought I had COVID, but I don't.
Yeah, we tested, it was negative.
Right now it's just stuffy nose and a cough and no headache, which thank God.
Yeah, but you had like fever and chills and the whole your stomach wasn't right and just.
I'm getting better.
Yeah.
I may not look like it, but I'm getting better.
Well, here's hoping I don't get worse. But
Yeah.
we are here to film just in case I do, because I didn't want to miss any more uploads if I could help it. And today we are going to be doing our unhaul. So if you're wondering about the self-destructing books I had, that's going to be on a separate video. This is just going to be for the other things that we are unhauling.
Sounds good.
So there's always a big unhaul and shelf Tetris after Christmas that we do. And this year is no exception. If you've noticed, we have changed some of the shelves around, but we have things on there and they fit now.
It was a whole rigmarole.
Yes.
Rigmarole.
Yes. And we will have a Christmas haul coming either before or after this, depending on when you see this. But without further ado, because this has been a long preamble, let's go ahead and get into the books that we are unhauling.
I'll go ahead and start. I'm going to knock out 3 right away. Very disappointing, but I'm getting rid of these 3 Lynn Flowing books. Now, I read her other trilogy. The first book in that trilogy was Bone Doll's Twin. That whole trilogy was awesome, super unique. This one I was super excited to get to. It's a 7-book series, and it's more of a sequel, even though she kind of wrote it before, but it's just not the same. It's not unique. It's kind of feels very generic. I didn't really like either of the 2 main characters. Just very different than what I was expecting. I gave the first book 3 stars, and I'm just not that interested to continue. So, unhauling 3 books in one go.
Well, 2 can play that game because I have 3 books in the same series that I'm unhauling as well. So I had been waiting until I read 4 and 5 in order to unhaul these, but no longer. Why am I hanging on to them? I'm not going to reread them. So we're getting rid of Hooked, Scarred, and Wretched by Emily McIntyre. The first 3 books in the Never After series. I didn't particularly enjoy 1 or 2, Hooked or Scarred, in the series. Wretched I liked fine, but I'm never going to reread it, so it can go.
Well, I can't match you with series, but I do have 3 books by the same author. I do like these books, but if I go back and read them, I can always just do the audiobook to give us some more space. That would, of course, be Michael Crichton. Dragon Teeth and Sphere, probably 2 out of my 3 favorite Michael Crichton books of all time. You've read Sphere and really liked it. And Prey, I really like. But again, if I'm going to go back and read them, I can always just go back and do the audiobooks.
Yeah, and I'm going to read the audio if I read them again. So, next up, I am going to be unhauling Hang the Moon by Jeanette Wells. So, I read this one and thought it was kind of disappointing. So, with me, Jeanette Wells is a very polarizing author. There are some of her books I really enjoy and some of them I don't. The ones I tend to really enjoy are her more nonfiction leaning ones, so like her own memoir, Glass Castle. And then the ones I tend not to enjoy so much are her more fictitious ones, like this one. And yeah, not going to reread it. Kind of disappointed. It's definitely going.
This next book was, speaking of your self-destruct books, this was one of my self-destruct books that I think you picked out for me. And I never got to it, and I don't really care. It's a random sci-fi book that I never got to. Whiteout, by Sage Walker. Very white cover. Yeah, I just never got to it. I'm not that interested. Don't really have too much to say about it, so we're chucking it.
Next up, one of my blind date with the book picks that I read but will not reread, Chain Gang All-Stars by Nana Kwame Adjei-Brenyah. This one I liked, but I didn't necessarily jive that well with the storytelling style, and I think that's the biggest reason that it's not going to live on my shelves. And I don't know if you have interest in reading it, but if you do, our library has the audio as well. So yeah, this one can go.
Next up, we have a book that I tried. I DNF'd. I was somewhat excited for it, but I had middling expectations for. It was The Unspoken Name by A.K. Larkwood. And going in, I had kind of forgotten what the premise was. My main complaint with the book is that the author didn't really do a good job of explaining things. I was very confused the whole time. And then when I went and looked up reviews on Goodreads, there were so many people complaining that, oh, they had no idea that the main character wasn't human. And then I said, what? The main character wasn't human? What the hell?
You're an orc, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. But anyway, like this author just didn't do a good job of like putting me in the scene, letting me know what's happening, where are we, what are we doing. So the author just didn't do a very good job in my mind.
And lack of context in a fantasy is a pet peeve of mine because I will be distracted and not enjoying it until I know some context. So it's not something I'm going to enjoy either. Next up, we have a horror book that we have both read, and I think both liked. It's Burn the Negative by Joshua Winning. So this is more of in the vein of like, it was a fun ride, but I am happy that I experienced it once and I don't feel the need to reread it. Do you feel the same?
Yep, it was a good time, but I'm never going to reread it.
Yeah, exactly. So let's pass it on to somebody else who will.
Next up is a horror book that I did not enjoy, but I gave it, well, I read the whole book, so I gave it a fair shot. It's Pen Pal by Dathan Arbach, and this is a Patreon pick, I think picked by Patrick Hordlore. A few people cite this as being one of their all-time favorite horror books. It originally got started on Reddit. Someone posted some stories there and then eventually got it published as a novel. My main complaint is that the structure is wonky. It's really not that scary. There's one good creepy scene, and I really didn't like the ending. I thought the author kind of fumbled the ending. So overall, I had more complaints than things that I liked about the book, so getting rid of it.
Yeah. So another horror that we have both read, well, that I DNF'd, but that you didn't necessarily love, Biltmore Butcher by Elle Stevenson. And this one disappoints us both because we both read and enjoyed part 1 of this when it was published by itself, when it was called The Goners. And the tweaks in here are definitely changing the storytelling style, and I think that's what frustrated me so much. Like some of the best moments and my favorite moments from The Goners just weren't in here, or they were completely like written in a way that took all the emotion out of the story for me. And so this one definitely was a disappointment for me, and I think for you as well.
Yeah, it was very confusing because it'd been a long time since I read The Goners, but I still remembered some distinct scenes.
Same.
And I read the whole thing, and a lot of it didn't happen, and I was just like very disappointed with it.
Yeah, we're not a big fan of the rework, and maybe if we had gone into this like without having read and enjoyed The Goners, we'd feel slightly differently. But to us, this doesn't live up, so we're happy to pass it on to somebody else who will like it.
I wish we still had the original Goners novella.
Yeah, I don't know if it's on my shelves in Canada or if it just got straight up unhauled.
Next up, my last horror book to talk about. One of the worst books I've read all year. You can check out my worst of 2025 video. I put that out a few days ago. It's pretty bad. It's The Vanishing by Bentley Little. Now, I read The Mailman by Bentley Little, and I really enjoyed that one. And I am a mailman, so there were some fun references there. And the evil antagonist was a mailman, so that was fun for me. But this one is just very gross. And I'm not the biggest fan of horror that just relies heavily on gross stuff. There's a lot of weird sex stuff in this book, and it just didn't work for me. And I pushed through, like the writing wasn't terrible, but the ending was also just very stupid. Like once you realize what's actually going on, it just, I should have DNF'd this book, but I plowed through it, but now I can just get rid of it. Thank God.
And I'm going to talk about the next 3 together because they're all kind of in the same camp for me. And that is, these are all contemporary, well, actually one's paranormal romance. But anyway, they're all romance that I really liked, but that if I reread, I'll be doing the audio on reread, and my library and my Audible will have the audios. So I don't need to hang on to the physical copies. So the first of those is X's and O's by Amy Lee. The second is Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young, which is the sequel to Out on a Limb. And the third is Bride by Allie Hazelwood. So like I said, I really enjoyed all of these. I think all of them were in the 4-star range for me. But if I reread, I'll be doing the audio. So don't feel the need to hang on to these.
And last, but certainly not least, is a book that I actually really liked by a new author that I've read a lot of in 2025 and will continue to read in 2026. But while this book was great, I'm never going to reread it again because it was just very, very silly. And that would be Since We Fell by Dennis Lehane. Now, I've read some great Dennis Lehane books, including Small Mercies and Shutter Island, which I talked about in my best books of 2025. This one I gave 4.5 stars to. It gets knocked half a star because the twists at the end were just utterly ridiculous. And while it was fun, it's not something I would ever go back to reread. It's not like a mind altering book for me. It was pretty good, but once is enough.
And if I pick it up, I'll be doing it on audio.
Yeah, I don't know if you'll like it.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Either way, if I do, it'll be on audio. So that was it for all of the books we have to unhaul in today's video. There will be more coming in my self-destruct results when that drops.
If you're curious, she had a butt ton of self-destruct books. I had 3. One of them was Whiteout. Another one was a Lisa Jewell book, which I already unhauled, which, if you're a fan of my channel, Lisa Jewell, I'm a huge fan of. But that one was my least favorite book. I gave it 4 stars, but it's not something that I'd ever go back to reread. I think it's called Before I Met You. And then the other one was The Dragonbone Chair by Tad Williams. Just got rid of all that shit.
Yeah, the whole series. You DNF'd it.
Yeah, I got like 250 pages into the first book, and it was just so boring. So, yeah, no thank you.
Yeah, I had heard it was a lot of describing the castle.
It reminded me of Wheel of Time, where Robert Jordan would describe so much stuff that I didn't care for, and then right when we got to something interesting, it'd go by like that, and I was just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
That's kind of a classic fantasy vibe of that era, I think. I find.
Yep.
Yeah.
The writing was really good, but it was boring.
Yeah, it's just not your cup of tea. So let us know down below in the comments, have you also read any of these books? Or any of these your favorites?
What books are you getting rid of to make more room on your shelves?
Yeah, because we know we all have that problem around Christmas time when we're gifted new books. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe on your way out if you want to, and have a great day. Bye!